Hey everybody, welcome. Today I'm doing a sort of pick a card. It's going to be for a main theme, why you're not healing or why you might be having some difficulties with healing on this twin flame journey in separation. So I'm going to lay out 3 cards, but then we're going to pull in other cards for other questions. So let's get some cards. We'll do 1, 2, and 3. Okay, 1, 2, and 3. So I want you guys to concentrate. I want you guys to think about, maybe some energies that you might need to release or accept to help you heal. We'll talk about, what is the main theme, why you're not healing? What is an obstacle maybe or a block for your healing? What is something to wake up to? Because we're in Pisces season, so it's all about sort of waking up to reality. And then what are you resisting? Maybe an energy that's sort of, like I said, a block or something that you kind of know you need to be doing this, but you're resisting it. And then something you need to stop doing. And I will warn you guys, these are very, they're very blunt cards, okay? And I designed them that way for a reason, because sometimes we need to hear that harsher truth or like that tough love. So that's where those come in. And then also advice to keep moving forward, to keep working at this self-healing, okay? So let's get right into it. I'll try to put timestamps. And if you guys have picked card number 1, main theme, why you're not healing, card number 1, people picking this card, to me this feels like it was a great feeling you had towards this person, like this wonderful, I don't know, almost like a fantasy, a reverie, a fun. You felt very fulfilled in some ways by this connection. I feel like it was almost like overindulgent. So, a main theme why you're not healing, it could be that you are a little bit more reliant on a partner, let alone twin flame, a partner to sort of satisfy needs or satisfy desires or satisfy things that you were lacking from your past. But I feel like once you get it, once you obtain it, you might go a little overboard with it. It's like an overindulgence. I also feel like this was a very happy connection when it was going on, and it felt really good, and it felt like nothing could go wrong here, and it felt like you had an equal sort of balance of love and all those things, but somewhere you may have been building it up a little bit more than them, okay? They might have also seen this in you, and it might have reflected on themselves, some of their own behaviors that maybe they were not aware of, and it might have scared them. So it could be like that, sort of thinking about how great it was, how rejoicing it was, how fulfilling it was, being sort of stuck on those past feelings, and needing to have a void filled, okay? That could be why, you're not healing. Plus you're thinking about them like crazy, and I feel like you put them on a pedestal, okay? And they may have not been as receptive to everything, the twin flame journey and the opening up and the spiritual wounds and all the things that they needed to open up to. They might have not been open to it. They may have, not been able to serve that or serve you something, or you serve them something, okay? There is also something about servitude, serving, okay? So that could be a main theme why you're not healing. So let's get sort of something that you might need to wake up to, okay? Something that needs to be brought to light, or something that you need to sort of wake up to, a light that you can bring to, the darker parts of this, some advice, something that, maybe you need to open up a little bit more to. And let's see. Oh, my cards were upside down. Okay, got it. I'll just give them a quick shuffle. And we're getting Star Mother. How can you mother yourself? So now, this is interesting because this could have to do with the mother wound. I don't know if you always have assumed caregiver type roles in relationships and been too giving, okay? that could be a mother wound. It's what we call a mother wound. That's a core wound. That's a child, inner child wound. Okay, something that your mother maybe did too much of or not enough of. And when we become an adult, we're focused on our partner more than we're focused on ourselves. So this could have to do with, sort of going back and looking at your childhood wounds, possibly stemming from your mother, and sort of reparenting the wounds or reparenting yourself. Look, we're talking about how can you mother yourself. So this is about self-love, about embracing yourself, about healing that need to serve, or that need to have abundance of things in a relationship, or overindulgence in a relationship, or going too far, or putting too much into it and not getting back what you need, or getting back nearly enough of what you're putting in. So focusing sort of on that, and like I said, the remothering. So, how do you remother yourself? You go back to childhood where there's wounds, and you really try to find these wounds, and they're usually themes in your life, okay? That you can sort of figure it out. And if you connect the dots and you go back to a time where something was extremely painful or disappointing or sad, or you felt abandoned, or you felt humiliated or in fear of something, or not enough attention or too much attention, you go back to that and you sort of reparent it. So yeah, something to wake up to is that maybe a mother wound, a core wound from childhood. Okay, so let's talk about maybe what are you resisting, okay? What are you resisting at this time? Maybe some energy to, come into. So I feel like you're resisting change, because with the wheel, it has to do with ups and downs. So you could just always be somebody that rides the waves of every situation and adjusts. Or you could be somebody that has difficulty with adjustment, and you could be somebody that has difficulty accepting when something needs to change. It could be also that you're sort of waiting this to ride out a little bit, and not focusing on the healing. Like you're waiting to see what's going to happen, or you're waiting to see if they're going to come back or talk to you or message you. And it could be that this has been going on all along, this up and down pattern with your twin or your person. So to me, this is saying that, this is also about taking a turn for the better and coming to a realization. It's also, to me, about working out other karmas in life. Like we all have karmic debt we have to work on. So there could be some karmic issues that need to be worked out. It could be karmic issue with mom. It could be just a minor thing. If that doesn't resonate, don't worry about it. Okay, that's not necessarily for everybody. But yeah, this is more about the cycles that I feel like you've been through with your twin, and also cycles that you've been through with other lovers and other people in your life, that you're on this continuous thing. Like when it's good, but then when it's bad, and then there's maybe and gray areas, and it keeps turning. It might be a pattern type thing for you. It might not be. It might be this was the first time you experienced this, but you're resisting change. Okay, you're resisting going with the flow and going with the change. It might be that you're trying to go against the grain a little too much, or you're not ready to accept, but really you're resisting change. Okay, so let's get some advice on that. Something, that you can maybe take away from this reading. That's something you might need to do. We'll call it universal advice from the universe, spirit. All right, freedom. I possess the power and the free will to create my own happiness. Interesting, because if you're staying like in the cycle energy, it's no freedom. It's trapped you there. So this is telling you that you have to actually believe, that you have the power to make yourself happy. You have to actually believe that you can free yourself from any emotions that you're locked into, from any connections from the past that you've been holding on to, from any connection that you might be holding on to with your twin, even if they've abandoned you or they've started their spiritual journey and they're nowhere to be found, and just letting yourself know that you can make yourself happy, but finding it, okay, that's what's difficult. That is what sometimes traps us up, and we'd rather stay in a cycle because a cycle might seem to start to be a little bit predictable. So at least we can sort of know what to expect if we're stuck in a cycle. So there's no sort of exploring outward, putting your feelers out, letting new energy come to you, clearing away old energy. So you have to free yourself a bit, okay? So let's talk about something that you need to stop doing. So now remember I said these are a little bit harsher, okay? But please think of them with love. Think of them like the mother that would talk to you, the right way to get you to do something you need to do or bring something to your attention. It's sort of like the fairy godmother, but definitely something that you may need to stop doing, in order to keep moving on and to heal. So we're getting stop feeling so sad. Okay. And I mean, this is difficult. It's easier said than done. Believe me, I realize this. But there are things you can do. There are things you can make effort to make yourself a little more happy. And if you're holding on, I understand it's difficult. But you can start to do things for yourself, pamper yourself a little bit, treat yourself to things a little bit, okay? But I mean, a big message coming in is like staying stuck in a stuck energy or a sad energy. You're not able to raise your vibration, and that's all part of, what we need to do. So let's get some advice moving forward from the Sacred Traveler, okay? So that's a jump that we're keeping it. Joy and delight. Open your heart to joy. See, we got two for you. And believe in magic. Journey by Moonlight. All right. So I feel like, deep down, you need to do this. Okay. You might be angry that you lost this. Okay. And you might be wanting it, but you just don't know how to get back to it now. Spirit is saying you do know the way. You do know how to do this. Start small and work your way up and try to work your way through some of these issues, but find joy and happiness again, okay? It's really something that's a critical piece to your healing. All right, I hope you enjoyed that and found that helpful. So if you've picked card number 2, here we go with card number 2. Main theme why you're not healing is you could be stuck on that youthful love, that first love feeling, that infatuated feeling, that connection. Like they were so great when we first met. They were so on point. They were so romantic. They were so dreamy. They were so wonderful. They were like a young Romeo. You're stuck on how they used to be. You're stuck on the beginning energy when it felt so amazing and so magnetic. But the problem is that this was an immature love. It needed more time to grow. It needed, more nourishing, whatever it is it needed. But that was nothing to do with you. That was on their part, okay? I also don't know if you were dealing with a water sign, but water sign energy here. Pisces, Cancer, Scorpio, more Pisces. So we're in Pisces season. Anyway, this is more like the focus on it felt so good when we first met. It was steamy. It was hot. We had this magnetic connection. They made me feel like I was the only person in a room. Very romantic, heavy feelings, very expressive. Okay. So you're stuck on that, and that's blocking your healing because you can't stop thinking about the then. And then now you're in the now, and it's depressing, and you feel lost and you don't know what the heck happened here. And you feel like it slipped away from you. This connection slipped away. Well, it was sort of like a jiggly fish that wanted to get back to the water. Think about when somebody's fishing, the excitement is catching the fish, but you return it to the water. To me, this feels like this needed to be returned to the water for more growth, for more development. Okay. So it could be that you were dealing with somebody that was not emotionally mature and ready to commit, and you're sort of stuck on that. Okay. So let's talk about something that you may need to wake up to. Okay, something that, you feel a calling to wake up to this. It might be a theme that's repeating in your life. It could be a bunch of different reasons why. Awakening. So you're in the middle of an awakening. This person that came into your life, this twin, this youthful water sign energy came into your life. This could be you too. It could represent you too as a youthful, maybe not ready to love as well. But you're having an awakening. They sort of came in and shook all your foundations up, and now you're just thinking differently. You feel like you can never go back to the way you used to think, okay? But you are being guided. You are having some type of integration. I feel like it could be happening while you sleep. You could be getting downloads and waking up with thoughts on your mind, or you could be having dreams or even daydreams. Don't discount those. Don't discount things that pop in your head. Like, don't make yourself crazy either, but don't discount the things that keep popping up in your head. They're messages for you, okay? So you're having an awakening. Yeah, and I'm getting a Queen of Wands energy, so I don't know if that's an Aries, Leo, or Sag, but it could be that this would represent you. It could represent your twin as well, but it more so representing you. I feel like this is for you to step back into your power, be dynamic again, use your creativity, all those things, let them come to surface. I feel like we're going into spring. I feel like even more transition is going to come for you in spring. But you are protected. You are being guided, okay? So don't worry about that. So now let's talk about something that, you might be resisting. And I feel like you are just very indecisive, and you're very indecisive about moving on. I feel like one day you feel like you can, the next day you feel like you can't. I also feel like, I don't know if there was some infidelity or some juggling of people, juggling of time, juggling of money, or time constraints or money constraints. There was something with that. So to me, I feel like you're just very unbalanced and you're unsure what direction, what do I do? Where do I go? But, in a lot of ways, you're making it look easy. You're making it look like it's not a lot of effort. But in a lot of ways too, I feel like there could be a more negative thought pattern or way that you're feeling, and you're being told to get away from that, to move away from that, okay? I feel like the better choice to make, the better way to go, the better decision, so please go with that, okay? So let's talk about something, that we can get advice, something that maybe is a main theme that keeps coming up, something that's problematic. Loneliness. I know that I am never alone. Wow. I feel like this whole lesson message type thing for you is to learn about being okay in your own company, being okay by yourself, learning to stand on your own, learning to not need anybody. You don't need anybody. You don't need a man or a woman to make you happy. So I feel like this is about finding your happiness, learning to make yourself happy, whatever that's going to be. Maybe it's a chance you didn't take. Maybe you want to go to fashion school and you're like, no, I don't know. Just go with what you feel. Because I feel like this is now a time everybody's having awakenings. We're going into Aquarius, age of Aquarius. This is more about not having judgments anymore, not limiting your imagination. Never limit it. You are your imagination. So I feel like go with that and take that going forward, that it is okay to be alone. It's okay to be by yourself and not be with another person or have another relationship or think that that is going to fulfill the loneliness that you might already have been feeling all your life and even in other relationships. Okay, so then what we're going to talk to is about something you might need to stop doing. Okay, now these are a little harsher, so please don't take them, the wrong way. It's just that they're like a little bit of a tough love thing sometimes we need, especially if we're in stuck energy. Stop saying you're sorry. Wow, so are you apologizing to yourself a lot or to someone else, or you feel like you've made a major mistake or you've done something wrong or that you can't take back, or you just feel sorry for yourself? Stop saying you're sorry and stop apologizing for your mistakes, your actions, your past things. I'm getting from Spirit that that's over. It's not, in other words, it's worn out. So it's like, don't even waste any more energy on this, okay? For whatever it is, however it resonates for you. All right, and then a last advice is going to be from Sacred Traveler, moving forward on the healing path. Okay, unknown territory. You are exactly where you need to be. So sometimes people are like, why am I stuck in this terrible energy? Why can't I move forward? You might be missing something that you need to conquer, but Spirit wants you to know you have to go through pain sometimes in order to grow. like it has to hurt if it's to heal, if you've ever heard that expression. So Spirit wants you to know that this is all a very intricate part of your spiritual journey, starting it, in the middle of it, going forward, things that you mirrored back and forth to your twin. You are right where you need to be right now. Okay, so don't worry. Let these energies help uplift you and help you move forward. Hope that was helpful, guys. Let's get on to card 3. Card 3, a main theme why you're not healing. I feel like this has to do with balance. I feel like this has to do with wanting to have more control. I feel like it has to do with overindulgences too, like sort of imbalance, maybe overdoing it with something. A lot of the times when this card pops up, it could be alcohol. It could be maybe you're eating too much, or, doing something that you thought was helpful, but now it's harmful, like those types of things. It's also too much of this going back and forth in your mind. Like one minute you're like, okay, the next minute you're not, or you're thinking a good thought one minute and then a bad thought comes. It's like an imbalance. Okay. So, this is about sort of purifying yourself, okay, and purging and letting go of a lot of things that have held you back in the past, a lot of feelings, a lot of energies, a lot of negative type self-talk, like those sorts of things. So it's more about cleansing. So it could be that you don't want to face something, or it could be that it's just an imbalance that you can't seem to get out of a loop of this imbalance, and you may not be releasing enough of what you need to. So like kind of talking it out. To me, it also feels like micromanaging yourself. You might be too much on yourself. You might have tried to micromanage your twin or micromanage the relationship. This is a little bit about control. When it's in a love reading, it's about you want to control the relationship. You want to manage the relationship. Okay. So that could be a pattern, or it could be just something that, came up now. So let's talk about something that you need to wake up to, an energy that might be calling to you, an energy that might be, wanting you to pay more attention to, like, those little niggles, I call them, those nudges that we have, something that you might have been missing that is more serious, that needs to be dealt with. Boundaries. Where do you need to establish better boundaries? A lot of the time this comes up in twin flame separation because one of you feels like your boundaries may have been pushed. Okay. So this connection made pushed your boundaries. Okay. It also means too, like if you're separated from someone or your twin, you're supposed to stay in other words, it's like you can't have part of the connection. It's either all or nothing. And that's what boundaries has to do. It's like if they don't want to speak to you, they don't want to speak to you. And you might be trying to find ways around that, or give them a few more days, or maybe if I say this or I do that. It's about allowing somebody their own emotional maturity or their own depression or whatever they need to do, and you keeping your own boundaries. It's also about who you let in, okay? So you might be letting the wrong people in, or in the past let the wrong people in. And you might just have weaker boundaries. Boundaries are very important for our mental health, okay? So something that you might need to wake up, boundaries. I mean, that's a very clear message, very clear for twin flame separation and just everyday life. So what are you resisting? Let's get a message out for something you might be resisting. This energy of the boundaries and the, let's see. All right. So I feel like you're resisting healing. You don't want to accept this. That's the problem. You don't want to accept that it's over, or it might be over, and there's no really going back. Okay, the wounds are there. The wounds from the past are there. They're not healed. There's unhealed wounds from the past. Could be from past relationships, or could be from this last relationship you were in with your twin, or, your person. There's unhealed wounds. It's like putting a Band-Aid over something constantly and cleaning it, and it's still bleeding. Okay. So you're being called to go to the core wounds of this, how this person hurt you the most. How did you hurt them the most? And look at it for what it is. Okay. Because if you keep resisting the healing part of this, there's no moving on for you, and really no moving on for them, because there's like a restriction. And the energy that you feel is a pull energy, and it's a heavy energy, and it's a downer type of an energy. So it can't heal. Like when you have a wound, you have to nurture it, you have to clean it, you have to keep it wrapped, dressed, you put antibiotic lotion on it, you do all these things. So you're not taking care of the real wounds that happened here, or the things that were exposed to you before separation that were core things that needed to be dealt with. Things maybe about them. This is also disappointment, separation, and it's also third-party interference. Not just cheating. It could be somebody else in your person's life that interfered in your relationship, or threw a wrench in, or took their attention away, or needed them, or was using them, or something that you had friction over. So yeah, third-party situation. So you can't get past the third-party situation and the old wounds that desperately need to be healed, okay? So what is something that, you might need to stop doing? Something to stop doing. Now remember, guys, these are a little bit harsher. These are sort of like tough love. It's my Stop That Oracle. But, sometimes we need that little bit of tough love, okay? So something to stop doing. Stop going against your own beliefs. And then this one wanted to pop out too. Stop letting everybody distract you. Okay, so the distraction part too could be more in your twins energy. But stop going against your own beliefs. Like, you don't have to change your beliefs about love or about what you think is right in a relationship, the things that maybe you argued over. You don't have to go against that. You feel these ways for a reason, and they're part of your soul and your core. So don't feel like you have to change yourself or change your ways for this person. They may have a problem with that. They may have a problem with this as well, because you might be mirroring it to each other. Yeah, and don't give in to these distractions. Do what you need to do. Whatever you need to feel like you need to follow, you do that, okay? So let's talk about some advice a little bit. We'll get something to touch on these two stop cards. Something you might have been struggling with all along, something you might be still struggling with, some type of an energy that you might need to come into to help you. Worry. I am learning that worry does not change an outcome. Absolutely. If you're staying stuck in the worry, like, what's going to happen? What if I did this? What if I did that? What if they go find someone else? What if, I let them come back and they hurt me again? What if I don't have enough money for retirement? What if I lose my job? What if? The worry is actually... Worry can actually, I don't know. I feel like worry can kill you over time. The stress that you build up in your body is not good. But I feel like this has to do with maybe you always were a worrier. It could be that now you're just in this energy now that you're just stricken with worry. So Spirit wants you to let that go a little bit, because it has to do with control. You cannot control outcomes. You cannot control what happens tomorrow. We don't know. We can get sick. There could be car accidents. There could be storms. There could be famines, droughts. There's no way to control what's going on. All you can control is how you feel about something and the energy that you're going to put on it. Okay. So let's get one more card. And this will be sort of like for your journey going forward. Some advice to help you get out of this stuck energy and the healing that you need. Get the big picture. Wow. So you might not be seeing this as it is, really as it is. You might be seeing it differently. You might not be ready to accept the way it really is, the way it really seems, that it may not change. Okay. That's a problem, because, you're being shown. I feel like you're being shown. This person is proving themselves to you on maybe not a daily basis, or maybe they were proving themselves to you. Like, in other words, a person is going to show you who they are, exactly who they are. And it's up to you to believe them. So if they're negligent, it's up to you to believe them. If they're a ghoster, it's up to you to believe them. If they are a little bit abusive or controlling, or they're stubborn, or they are indifferent to things, it's up to you to see them for how they are, and also see your life for how it is. How do you want your life to look? This is a question to you. So that's advice going forward. See it from a different view. See it for what it is. I hope this helped everybody. Love and light to all of you, and I'll see you guys in the next reading.